Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fancy TV. Saturday evening, 8:30. Still struggling over the days of the week. Obviously, we're in this lockdown situation, and it's kind of the days kind of roll into one. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys. I'm expecting to YouTube home. There's been some good weather around the country. I don't think we've got a lot of good weather up here. For me, it's average. It's been dry up near Manchester. Hope it's not too bad wherever you guys and gals are. What we're going to talk about today, as usual, not stacks to talk about. Man City wise, what's been going on with Man City? Talk about Jess Park from the women's team. I think that's something good to talk about. Something a little bit positive, some positive news for a change. So we'll talk about Jess Park. And I think we've got to talk about Premier League clubs furloughing their players. I'll tell you what furloughing is all about, what it means, and why it just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem to be the right thing to do. It's all about money, guys. So it's always seems to be about, sadly. So we'll talk about furloughing players, or not players, but furloughing employees, furloughing staff briefly. I'm not going to go into too much of the exactly what goes on when you furlough an employee. I really want to look at, because now Liverpool are I think the fourth club to do this. So I just want to look at it, the implications, what it looks like, the perception, because it doesn't look very good at all. And quite rightly, Liverpool fans are not happy about it, at all. And we'll talk about finances and how clubs are getting hit in the pocket from not having games, basically missing out on home games. What is the match day income situation like? We can look at the furloughing and say, basically, excuse me, is that the right thing to do? Are they so financially strapped that they have to do something like that? We'll have that debate. It depends who comes online, how far we go with that debate. I'm just going to do a couple of bit of house. We'll see who's Angus. Hey, Angus. Nice to have you on board, Angus. Very good evening to you. So we'll go through these on this day in history. Just slug of coffee. So there is somebody there, the face there. I think if I move, see more of him. If I move this way, looks like I've frozen for a bit. I'll be back. Oh dear. Okay. Yep, there we go. So that's Stefan Karl. And in 1994, that's 26 years ago, Stefan Karl scores his one and only City goal, crucial 1-0 win at Southampton. I think that took us up to 17th place in the league. Hey, Brad, nice to have you on board. Yeah, it's bright nights. The sun's going down. We're just before 8 o'clock now, I think. So that's quite nice. Hi, Aaron. Hope you're well. So let's go through that on today in history. Just remind you, on April the 4th, 1994, 26 years ago, Stefan Karl scores his one and only goal for City. And City beat Southampton 1-0. And that took us, let's get a bit more of his face. Even move the seat now. You can see a bit more of Stephen Carl. So yeah, that took us up to 17th place. So what are we going to talk about today? There's two things I'm going to talk about today. One is briefly we're going to go on and talk about Jess Park, and you won't even be able to see her in the background. Let's move to one side for Jess Park. Woo! Jess Park signs her first pro deal at City. We'll talk about Jess Park, and we're going to talk. Let's move a little bit. Me and Jess. So we're going to talk about Jess Park and behave. Is it going to be that warm tomorrow? You need a barbecue. Anyway, we're going to talk about Jess Park. It's her first deal at City, first pro deal, and we're going to talk about. Who cares, Angus? Who cares? 50 stone. 50 stone. Got better things to do. 18, Brad. 18. If I remember correctly. Okay. Let's look at. Wow, 20 degrees. It's going to be nice and warm. Let's get back to the middle. Now, Jess Park. Yeah, I'm from right. Some of the stuff I talk about is off the top of my head, and some obviously I've had a read up of. Now, Jess Park is 18. I'm sure she's 18 years old. She's been at City since that was it. She was born in October. So wow, a millennial. Millennial. So she is. Let's look. I normally pull up someone's Wikipedia page. Always interesting, but there's nothing on Jess Park's Wikipedia page really. So basically, anyway, Jess started off in the northeast, if I remember correctly. She started off in the northeast. She was playing at York. Sorry, that's not really northeast. It's North Yorkshire, I suspect. So she's at York City. Sorry, and she came to Man City when I think she was 17. She just it was 2 years ago actually, in October 2017. So actually 16. Sorry, wow. Anyway, so Jess Park. So she signed her first pro deal, and she said, "I'm over the moon." Okay, so I've got this off the City's official website now. So it says she joined City in October 2017 from York City, and she's committed for the next 3 years, up till 2023, when she'll be 21, I think. Now, she does look a bit of a talent. Remember, she's only 18 years old, 18 and a half years old. She's played 15 times for the first team. She had 15 appearances. She scored 5 goals in the last 7 games. That's not bad going. Very, very good. And she's really happy. This is her first pro contract. She said, "I'm over the moon to have my contract sorted. I've absolutely loved every minute since joining City. With all the incredible resources we have, being here has helped me to develop massively. I can't wait to continue my growth as a player with this brilliant club." Well, there you go, Jess Park. If you want to know more about Jess, you can go and have a look at the Manchester City website. I think there's an interview with her there, so it's something if you want to go and check that out. Blackpool Blu-ray, she's from York, so I think she started off at York. That was her local club, according to the official website. We might have to argue with that. And she came to City in, I think, 2017. So she's been here a couple of years. She's only 18 and a half years old. Repeat, 17, 15 first team appearances, 5 goals in the last 7. It's very, very good. I don't know about that, Angus. I've not heard about Brighton not following the lockdown rules. I've not heard about that at all, but it's not good if people are not following the rules. Stephen Carl, I mean, sometimes we're talking 26 years ago, Stephen Carl. So sometimes you forget that some of these players played for City. Hey, yeah, that's right, Blackpool Blu-ray. At least you got Moon in there. But she should be over the blue moon. So we're going to move on. I think, that's the only real City story I could find. We'll talk about clubs. I've not talked about it before, but it seems to be a theme now. It seems to be a trend about clubs furloughing players. Absolutely, Dunk. Absolutely done. We're going to talk about this. So we're going to talk about furloughing players now, or furloughing staff. I liked it too, Angus. I liked it too, mate. Don't worry about that. Okay, now this is the situation. Obviously, we're in a crisis at the moment. Some larger companies have got loans and guarantees and stuff from the government. Okay, let's forget about them. A week after the budget, the government came out with a support package for basically smaller businesses. That was the aim, but basically companies. And they said these companies would have to lay off staff because the cash flow, they weren't getting money in business. Because when the government basically put the brakes on a big chunk of the economy, some companies, I mean, you can't make money anymore. And some companies felt they would have to lay off staff. Now, once you lay off staff, you've got to, some of those staff might leave whatever industry they're in and go and do something else. As well as people not having enough money to go around, there was that worry that people would leave, and once the economy does start to pick up again, they might not come back, and those businesses might go to the wall just simply because they can't get the staff, or they'd have to start again very slowly, and we wouldn't hit our stride. It would be totally different. If you lose 10 members of staff and then you have to go and recruit and only 2 of them come back to you, then your business is automatically going to be miles smaller whilst you recruit and train and everything else. The economy is going to be slower. So the idea was the government would make a contribution for 3 months to staff pay if you said there was no work for them and you were going to temporarily, is that the word? I can't even say it, temporarily put them, they're not going to be sacked, they're not going to be fired or redundant, but there's no to do. You temporarily put them to one side, and once things pick up, they come back. Now, the government said they'd pay up 80% of a salary up to £2,500 a month. So that's about 30 grand a year. So the government said we'll pay 80% up to £2,500 a month. And so the company would pay the rest. That was the idea. Now, a lot of clubs, businesses have done this. Okay, businesses have done this already. Big businesses as well. But it's when, obviously, we're football fans, so we're going to talk about it in terms of football. Now, I believe Norwich City have done it. I believe Newcastle have done it. And obviously Spurs did it and got a battering for it a few days ago. Now Liverpool have done it. Now, what they're basically doing is the non-playing staff, they're going to temporarily, let's call it making them redundant, but then they'll come back once the business starts again. And the government will pay 80%. So if someone's on 40 grand a year, the government will pay £2.5 grand towards that employee. And Liverpool said they'll make up the rest of the money so nobody misses out. Now, it's not true, I don't believe, that Liverpool will be paying 20% of someone's salary and the government 80%. I think they'll be paying more than that on average, okay? Because the government are only going to pay up maximum £2.5 grand a month. If someone's earning £5 grand a month, well, Liverpool have to pay the extra 2.5 to make that up. So it's 50-50 then. So it really just depends on how much these non-playing staff earn. So I think Liverpool might be up to paying 30, 40, 50%. We don't know. It's guesswork. I mean, I can go look at the number of staff and the cost of those non-football staff and try and work it out, but it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to make a big difference to any of us. But the point is, Liverpool are taking advantage, as Spurs have done before them, and as Newcastle and Norwich, of a government scheme when it really wasn't, I don't think, intended for rich or highly profitable companies who could, you feel, ride the storm. Okay. And Liverpool are coming in for a heck of a lot of flack over this. I mean, you've got some imbeciles, and there's no polite way to look at this, who are out there supporting what Liverpool have done. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's morally right. You've got, yes, I mean, I know the players, and who are we to talk about other people's contracts and whatever, but you'd like to think the players, like some other clubs, Vincent Kompany, talks about this. We talked about Vince Company a couple of days ago about doing this at RSC Anderlecht, where he's player manager, where he said, I think they wanted players to take a pay cut. And he said, if a player doesn't want to take the pay cut, basically he'd make up the money himself out of his own pocket. That might cost him £1 million or €1 million, but he's prepared to do that. So it can be done. The play, and it could have been, I think the best would have been the players get together and say, and I still don't think this is right. The players could have said, well, we'll take a small pay cut. It is a small pay cut. You know, I mean, we're talking about this costing about £1.5 million a month. Okay. If he says good salary for him, you know, that's 20 grand a week, that's 80 grand a month. It doesn't take many of them, you know, take the first team squad to donate 10% of their salary. I'm sure that will cover the non-playing staff. But Liverpool are taking advantage of the government scheme. So you and I, as taxpayers, basically we're funding Liverpool. And, you know, there's some jokes out there about being state aided and all that. But it doesn't sit right that they're paying the multi-million stars the full salary. They make tons of profit, they tell us, and they do it right. It means more and all that rubbish. And the multi-million owners taking money from basically the government, and it's going to cost about, it was rumoured, £1.5 million a year. Sorry, a month, £1.5 million. Now, look, we'll get some money back, I assume, in tax, because, you know, they're not just going to give them the money. But without looking into all the ins and outs, it's still, they're going to walk. It's going to cost the taxpayer over £1 million a month at Liverpool. Doesn't seem right, does it? Doesn't seem right at all. So it seems very, very wrong. And so other clubs are doing it. And look, I really wish City don't come out and do this because it just doesn't look right. As I said, it might be legal. It doesn't feel right. It's got a bad taste. These are bad tastes in your mouth. Let's see what you guys are saying. It's not just Liverpool. That's right. Blackpool Blue Ray Dunk. They are stealing public funded money for people who actually need it. Yep. Leaving Ashley also disgusting. In Spain, the death toll has dropped. Don't know how many days it will last. So I'll talk about that if you want later on, about the trends. At least most top players run their own charities. Don't see the owners doing that, just topping up. Well, look, all clubs have a charity arm. Even some of the not, when you go into the non-leagues, they have a charitable foundation. I think every single club has almost. I mean, I did some work for a few clubs last year off the top of my head. Who did I work for? I worked at Barnsley a couple of times. I worked for them, for their foundation. I ran some workshops for their disability. They have a disability group that attends once a week. So I did a couple of workshops for them. I did some stuff at Sheffield Wednesday for their charity. I did some stuff I was supposed to do at Burnley, but that got cancelled because when City were, because they weren't sure the game was going to go ahead because we were still in the Champions League. And if we got through against Spurs, the fixture would have been rearranged, and then there's no point having their fun day. So their community day. So they postponed it in advance because they didn't want to do it, 3 or 4 days before the date. People are preparing and whatever, so they postponed it a week or 10 days early. And I did one at Huddersfield as well, Huddersfield Time. So plenty of stuff there. So all the clubs have got these charities, but it's just wrong. It's just wrong. It just feels wrong. And yes, I repeat for the third time, it's legally okay to do that, but it's just morally wrong to keep paying millionaire footballers, to have profits that are huge, and then still have owners who are worth billions and then still take the money. I hope that the government will put something in place to recoup some of this money and say, look, if you're making hefty profits, then you can pay us back, and you can call it an interest-free loan, But after when all this is over, you can pay us back. That's what I'd like them to do, and I'd hope that Liverpool will pay that money back because it's just wrong. Now it's possible that Liverpool Football Club will see the terrible bad press they're getting right now. I mean, it's quite humiliating. Some of their own fans are having a dig at them and a pop at them. Because look, Liverpool's a socialist kind of area. Talk about Shankly, and he talks about the community, but Liverpool have got form. Liverpool have got form, yeah, of doing crass things. Now, this is a terrible thing they're doing. Look at what they did with Suarez, the Suarez Ebra situation, where they've got these T-shirts made up for supporting Suarez after, I think it was after he'd been punished by the FA. Not a good look. It was, besides not being a good look, it was a terrible thing to do. Absolutely despicable, really. Look at what they do around the community, where they wanted to extend. They couldn't extend it because of the housing around Anfield, and so what they did was they were buying up properties and then just leaving them empty. So the area became neglected, and the people that remained, they were really unhappy that the properties, around them were neglected and sometimes in state of disrepair, and value was dropping because the state of the area. And Liverpool certainly contributed to this decay. And basically, they're trying to force them out, force these people. Some of them didn't want to leave. They were trying their best to force them out so that they could expand the stadium to make more money. That's all it's about, is make more money. And remember, Liverpool are a club who were formed simply to make money for their owner. Nothing else. A lot of clubs were formed to do with churches, just for pastimes, yeah, sporting pastimes, or to keep people out of trouble and link with the church and everything else. Liverpool were formed simply to make money, nothing else. Absolutely, that probably right. That's why I say, if you're in such a predicament, then take an interest-free loan from the government. Right now, the government are going to be paying Liverpool about £1.5 million a month. As I said, they might get something back in tax, but if you're going to pay £1.5 million a month, why don't you just do that in an interest-free loan and then get the money back? I don't see any problem with that. Angus, February 13, 2012, that game brought anger and tears. It was a terrible thing, terrible thing that happened. Liverpool suffer from short-term memory syndrome. Excuse me, guys. Absolutely, Dr. Blu-ray. I know, they've done many other things that you just shake your heads. And I read something today where someone said, Liverpool hardly ever get it wrong. Sorry? No. Absolutely rubbish. Liverpool get it wrong. And I read something about Rory Smith saying, he's a New York Times, and he gave his excuses for why Liverpool did it. And he did at the end admit that they'd done something wrong, but he got his excuses in early. And he said, Liverpool have lost one home league game since this started. Apparently, they've not missed out on any monthly payments from the Premier League for TV money, but they missed out on one home game. And he said it was worth £15 million. When you put it like that, it says, wow, that's a heck of a lot, 15 million quid. Wow. I haven't checked now. I asked him if his numbers were right, because I had a quick look. And Liverpool played 26 games last season. Obviously, they played one in the Carabao Cup at home. They played 19 league games, and they played 6 in the Champions League at home. Okay? That's 26 games. Because they got beat by Chelsea at Carabao Cup 2-1 at home, and beaten by Wolves, I believe, away 2-1 in the FA Cup. So 26 games. They got about 95 million pounds from matchday income. To me, that works out at under 4 million quid a game. I don't know where he's got his 15 million quid from. The point is, clubs missing out on home games. I said Spurs, I'm guessing we're missing out on about 6 million quid per home game. Between 5 and 6 million. I think that sounds reasonable, because look at their restaurant. I remember reading their restaurants were making 800 grand. 800 grand every single home game in terms of revenue. It's ridiculous. So, but he forgets about the expenses as well. But anyway, Liverpool could be making a net profit of about £3 million per home game. Spurs could be making £5 million. So it's a huge amount. And yes, it's big money and it has an impact, but it's not the 15 million that Rory Smith says. Otherwise, Liverpool, if you're doing that per home, they're getting 300 million quid match day income. Woo, Rory! No. You know, it's your commercial income, it's your TV income that's making the big chunk of your money. Liverpool, they're trying to get to 100 million, but Rory's numbers are ridiculous. Thanks, Angus. But that's it. So, yeah, as I said, it's not nice what Liverpool is. It's Liverpool, it's Norwich. I think we're the first to do it. Newcastle and I think Bournemouth are doing something. I can't remember now. Hi, Catherine. Hope you're well. So, yeah, we're just about to wrap up, guys. Just about to wrap up. So, it's Liverpool aren't the only club who are doing it. As I said, there's 4 or 5 in the Premier League. And as I repeat, even though it's legal, it just doesn't smell right, doesn't sound right, doesn't taste right. You know, it just leaves it feels wrong, you know, with the amount of money that's in the game and the amount of money that Liverpool got. And someone said Liverpool spent in about a year almost £44 million on agents. Now I have not checked that number, but they spent a lot of money on agents, Liverpool, in the last couple of seasons. And that money's just disappearing from the game. It's going to agents who are living the high life, and it's never getting reinvested into grassroots football or anything like that. So, yeah, they'll do it. They'll get away with it. As I said, they may feel forced to reverse their decision, not because they believe it was a wrong decision, because they made that decision not based on right or wrong, morals or no, morals or whatever. This is the decision they've made because they thought, we can get away with it. We'll do it. We'll take some money. So if they reverse the decision, it's simply because of the moral outrage, the backlash that's out there in the media and from their own fans. Because I had a look down on Twitter, their own fans, about 90% of them, just shaking their head, not just shaking their heads, they're actually voicing their discontent about what Liverpool as a football club are doing. And, you know, as I said, there's a few that have no shame, who still want to defend them, but I just think it's indefensible. Guys, I think that's my lot for tonight. Yep, absolutely Blackpool Blu-ray. I just can't accept it. That's my lot on a Sunday. Hey, if you haven't seen the Hyde Road video that we put out this morning, please go and give it a watch, 2 watches, you know, because it's our history. It's our history from, was it 99 years ago? It's our history. So it's worth, you know, especially with these no footy on, why can't we just, you know, on a regular basis, 2 or 3 times a week, learn about more about City's history? Yeah. Last week we did that Lee Bell and Summerby video, learn about them. That's part of a golden age in our history in the late 60s, early 70s. And Hyde Road, you know, I knew we played at Hyde Road, but there's stuff there that I didn't know, yeah, before the research was done. So there's lots of good stuff. There'll be another one coming out in the next day or 2. That's, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next one coming out. And then hopefully at least once or twice a week, we will give some history videos and keep trying to do the live streams as well. I'm going to try and keep them going nearly every evening. But if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Watch the Riyad Mahrez stuff we did last night. Lots, I think, decent stuff. You know, there's some very good comments on YouTube and Twitter for the Hyde Road video. So please go and give that a check. I think it's called Letter from the Manager. I think that's how it's titled. Please go and give it a check. And hopefully, thanks Blackpool Blu-ray. It was, I mean, I'm really pleased it's found a good audience. Look, you know, you can see in the credits, Colla's done the research and the video production. My job was easy. You know, I've just narrated it. That's it. You know, I've read the script Cole's done pretty much all the hard work. So big thanks to him. But please, guys, go and check him out. As I said on Twitter, people commenting very, very favourable comments and dead happy that people have enjoyed it. And for this situation that we're in now, I think the views are pretty decent as well. So, guys, look after yourselves. Stay safe. Stay home. Even if the weather's nice tomorrow, stay home. Have your barbecue in the backyard. Don't go around your mates. Just stay home. We've got, and I'm going to finish because Angus mentioned it. The numbers are dropping in deaths in terms of Spain and Italy. So that's positive. The feeling is that the peak in deaths probably in Italy, it feels like it could have happened. 9 people sadly died. Today it's down to 681, and it's been almost pretty. It's been a steady decline. There's one day where it dropped a lot and then it bounced back for a couple of days, but it's almost a reasonable steady decline. Let's hope that continues. Spain, even though the numbers are still very high, we just got to see what happens in the next few days. France is a bit of a worry because they're now including the care homes. So the numbers down in hospitals are low, but the care homes are huge. They're going to hit 10,000 very, very soon, sadly, of deaths. UK has had the highest number of deaths today, but the belief is that new infections are starting. We started to get on top of it. And normally you see within about 3 weeks of a lockdown, an improvement in the numbers of people getting infected, and hopefully a fall in the number of deaths. And I think that's pretty much what we've seen when we look at Italy. Their second lockdown was on the 11th of March. And now, about 3.5 weeks later, we're seeing a decline in deaths, which is what should happen. This is what should happen if you've got an effective lockdown. Spain was on the 14th of March. So you'd hope to start seeing the numbers dropping, which we have seen over the last 2 days. It's not, certainly not out of the woods yet. France, you'd expect it to start dropping. I mean, it dropped in hospitals today, but with them not including the care home numbers, the stats, it's hard to get a handle on it. So hopefully, guys, everybody's hard work, staying at home, social distance. It's not social distancing, it's physical distancing. Yeah, because we're still socializing, we're still interacting here. It's physical distancing. And the more we do that, the better it's going to be for everybody. So, it's going to make a big difference. Come on, guys. Hopefully, we've got 3 or 4 more weeks. Yeah, it's early days, 3 or 4 more weeks of this at this sort of level or even stronger. And let's hope people behave and the numbers can keep on coming down, and that we can. I don't know when we're going to come out of restrictions. It might last 3 months, but hopefully things will get better. That's all we can hope for. Guys, please look after yourselves. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. See you around, Blues.